Kalyan is the founder and mentor of LNI, and he's been working in the industry for 24 years in serving the Indian Army and the government of India. He's also certified by international coaches and mentors, and I'm proud and had the pleasure to share the same stage with him when we were doing our international sessions together. He's passionate about human transformation. He touched lives of 10,000 and developed 300 plus leaders. He's the author of Making Great Leaders Happen, Making Great Sales Happen, upcoming book, Struggle or Create Visionary Organization. I'm in cross-cultural communications. I'm a coach, international speaker, certified trainer, and best-selling author. My area is in coaching, English, Mandarin translation skills, and also teach kids and Montessori method of education. And we also have a panel, Duriati, or Dieti, Honorary Entrepreneur Award for the Singapore Malay Chamber of Commerce and Industry. She's a therapist and trainer for adult learner. And we have the beautiful Reina Zhou, coming from Curacao. She's in communications, marketing, empowerment, life coach, and a feng shui master. What do you think?
Oh.
Yes, she can tell you how to position your body, where to put your clothing, what to wear, how to speak to your kids. Oh, very special lady indeed. The Honorable Mr. Lam Kyong Kwong Kiam. Sorry, I have to pronounce that correctly. And he's the founder and director of several education centers with in-depth knowledge of students' stress and problems. He's a very level-headed man. I've spoken to him and worked with him. He can certainly be a very good asset to the world of education. And prior to his venture in education, he has 28 years of experience in the finance industry. So he can teach so many things to our children. And next we have Teresa. Teresa is the author of 11 books, a master storyteller, and executive director of Igniting Passions globally, and boots on the, I missed out on something here. So that will be edited later. And Reina is, take this, I wrote a book and she was my reviewer. She reviewed my book, and normally we speak at about 3 p.m., 3 a.m. my time, and her time will be maybe 9 a.m., 8 a.m. in the US. And of course, we have the beautiful Indy Ray here. Of course, we have the Meta team, Priyanka. So without further ado, we're going to continue with the segment. And I would like to invite Kalyan Hati.
Hello, everybody. And Hanifa, thank you very much for a great introduction. And I think, it's honor and pleasure of mine to be sharing the dais with all the great leaders from various countries here. So Rena, Hanifa, Didyati, Mr. Lam. So really appreciate your time and the good work that you are doing for children, for schools. And maybe as Hanifa said, that somewhere this was there in your vision, that how whatever good work that you're doing in your country, how this good work can be taken globally to the other countries. And India being one of the largest democracy and one of the largest populated country in the world, I think what more than transforming the children, because end of the day, every child in every country is a human being. And we are here as human beings to transform the people, and that is what metamorphosis stands for. So I, as a industry expert being here, so really thank you very much for that. The whole vision of Learn and Inspire is about how Learn and Inspire can be a learning partner for life. So, right from the birth, when the child is about to take a birth, we come from the a nation where teachings are done not when the child is born, but teachings are done when the child is conceived and is still in the womb of the mother. That's the historical mythology in India. So how do we look at what we need to do as a mother, as a father, to be able to inculcate the right things, right vibrations to the child when it is in the womb? When the child takes birth and maybe it goes to a school, how Learn and Inspire can be a partner to the school and to the child for the holistic development. So when I say what is the holistic development is about the academic excellence that the child need to achieve, the technological skills that it need to have, or the entrepreneurship skills that it need to gain, or the core values, the fundamental values that connect the human beings across the world. The United Nations was one of the reasons, based on the values and the 21st century thinking skills. So this is a holistic development of the child. And around this child, there are teachers, there are principals, there are parents, there are drivers, school bus drivers. All of these people also need to be transformed so that we are able to create right environment for the child. Just like a plant requires a right environment for its growth, a child requires a right environment. It's not about the seed, how good it is, or it is not about the plant, how good it is. But if the right environment is not given, even a good seed can never germinate into a tree. So that's what is all about child. So that's what is Learn and Inspire School. Learn and Inspire School is about. After the school, maybe once you step into the college, there is Learn and Inspire College. And then as you move out of the college, you may start a business or you join a corporate. So there's Learn and Inspire Business, there's Learn and Inspire Corporate, and maybe 40 plus you have some life crisis, whether it could be relationship issues, or you may say my child is not listening to me, or maybe I have a financial problem, or I'm not able to cope up with my boss. So there are different challenges. It's not about money, but there are various other aspects of life. So there is Learn and Inspire Coach. And then as you step into the old age, there are challenges around old age. Maybe the children are not around them, they're lonely, they feel they're left out and stuff like that. So how do you someone coach and guide those old age people? So that's how Learn and Inspire is a learning partner for life. So I'm very happy, that Hanifa, who is actually from Singapore, and Learn and Inspire is epicenter of global expansion in Singapore, and she's going to lead this international expansion. And at the first step in that direction of this summit, where she has been able to bring in lovely people like you. So very honored to be with you all. And I don't want to take much time. I would like to learn like a child and listen to you all. And all that I could say is that how can I help? How can I enable to take your knowledge, that whatever you're doing in your respective country, to be brought in to India and also the other nations? So we would like to be an enabler, would like to be an accelerator, we would like to be a catalyst where it's your knowledge, but end of the day, that knowledge is touching lives, transforming lives, and working in the direction of touching 10 million lives mission of Metamorphosis Organization by 2030. And I'm doing this as part of my social work and social contribution in spite of my full-time job. All my Saturdays I spend in schools for this contribution. And that's how I would like to work with each of you and Hanifa. Yeah. Thank you for that. And Hanifa, over to you. We can't hear you, Hanifa.
Yeah, okay, I just
Yeah.
unmute myself. And thank you so much for the address. And look how well spoken and how clear he is about his direction. We all know that when the goal is clear, the path is clear, and you know exactly what you want, and when we speak, it comes out with power. And that power is the reason why we are all here. And with that power, we are not only pushing it, but we are pulling in more and more people. And as professional speakers, international speakers, that's what we are taught to do. not to learn by pushing or seeing what is in our head and put it into the hearts of others, rather to show them what's in their hearts and then bring it out for them to see. That's what's in your heart. We are just saying what's already there and helping you, helping them, and helping more people to see through their eyes what we know, but what they need help with. So you talk about environment, how we nurture our children is as important as the nature of the kids. He also discussed that we want to touch 10 million lives by 2030. Now that's a good way to specifically leave us to be conscious about our effort, that there's a goal, there's a movement happening within us. My next, the agenda here is to have Indie Ray to step in.
We are very glad to have all of you on this platform, and this panel conversation is going to give us a pleasure to understand the different aspects and the vision and point of view from the different countries. So once again, I welcome you all. So my first question to Mr. Lam is, why holistic education of child is important?
Okay, I have been in this industry for more than 10 years, and I have interacted with many students. I myself as a tutor, and also I have spoken to parents and my teachers. And so what I notice is that, particularly in the Singapore context, there are four major problems that our students are facing. Now, the first is that I realized that a lot of them do not pay attention. They can't pay attention to what they're doing. So in school, they not pay attention to what the teacher is saying. So so that is one issue, they don't learn. Okay. So the second problem is that even if they manage to learn something in schools, they cannot remember. And so when the exam come, right, they cannot recall what they study. So that's the second problem. Now these two problems, right, you put them together, would actually mean that they are very stressful because they come to exam, they don't know what to do. So the third problem is the stress. Now, if the third problem come in, right, then the fourth problem will come. That is the motivation. They don't have motivation because they're not doing well. So these are the things that what I realize is that our schools do not teach them some of these skills. But for example, how to pay attention. I mean, the teacher can always tell you pay attention, but then the student wouldn't know. You ask me to pay attention, but I don't know how to pay attention. So that's one of the first issue. Then they also don't teach them how to memorize better. Right? You want to learn something, you need to remember. You need to be able to recall during exam. But schools do not teach all these things. So you have the problem. Then the third problem that I realize is that they are not, they when they are facing with problems that they cannot solve, right, they give up easily. So that is again a mindset issue. So we need to change their mindset. We need to give them the growth mindset. We need to nurture them. So to me, these are a lot of the issues that our traditional schools do not focus on because they teach content, the domain experts. They only focus. The teachers only have time to focus on maths, languages, and so on. But they don't really teach you how to learn better. So for that reason, I think a holistic education, we should include this. And plus, of course, we need to cultivate good character, good behavior, and the good habits, learning habits. So all these need to go together. So we need a lot. You need to do a lot, just to make sure that our future generation will progress, as we move on.
So one more question to you, Mr. Lam. Do you think holistic education will help all-rounder development to the child?
Definitely. It will definitely, and particularly with the the new economy, things are changing very fast. So if you don't learn, there are more and more things for you to learn, and you have to keep on learning new skills because what you learn a couple of years ago by a few years later will be obsolete. Then it's basically a lifelong skills. You just look at the programming languages. Every few years there are new programming languages coming out. So the programmers have to keep on learning, otherwise they cannot survive. And a lot of the profession are gone today, will be taken over by AI. So everyone, in fact, we need to give them, teach them the skills so that, in future when they go out to work, right, they can survive, they can strive, they can do well.
Thank you, Mr. Lam. My next question to DDRT. The question is, how important is the role of ecosystem like parents, teachers, principal, school founder, etc. important for development of a child?
Can I have the question again?
I'm just sending it in a chat also so that it will be good for you
You
to.
can read it in the chat.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm sending it. I'm sending.
All right. I got it. Is it the why holistic education all around development of
No,
child?
no. The
Not that
question
one.
number three. Question number three is for
Okay.
you. Yeah, so I'm asking again.
All
So
right.
my next question to you, DDRT, the question is, how important is the role of ecosystem like parents, teachers, principals, schools, founders, etc. important for development of a child?
Yes, thank you very much. Indeed, is a good question. To be frank with you, I'd like to introduce myself. Besides, I'm an adult educator. I am CSG parent support group with my for my child from it's almost about the same, maybe 15 years. I started with a primary school, and then after that I've been to secondary school, and I am the vice chairman for the parent support group till today. And this year will be my retirement because my boy will be leaving this year. So I'm going to focus more on the people who really want to understand what is it about education. And I'm also one of the support for the NLP for the storytelling for the Kids Wonder. And we are the best group from primary school, White Sands Primary School. So the question that you are giving me is a more aligned to my um, journey. Where, to be frank with you, I have my child when I was 40. First, second was 41, and the last one is 45, and now he is 16 years old boy. So why I go along together with the parent support group, because I'm at age of 62, that I have to understand what is the new millennium life for children. So this is a very important for me, where I'm a role of the parents, I'm a role of the teachers, and partially a tutor, for the children's adult and adult learner. So these are the things we have to change. We have to change a new way of um, life talk about education. We are no more looking for the syllabus, where protocol that what we used to have during our time is so much different. I was trained from the NLP, and I was trained from as the facilitators to understand how to educate. It's about the educate. It's not about how you teach your children to be a good child or to be the best result in the school. So as what I see this one, the role model is first came from we as a parents. We have to first, what I thought is to my children and to my all these primary school who are under my care for the storytelling. First, we have to respect ourselves. If we respect ourselves, it will be easier for us to connect to people. And I train my children as well. Don't be scared, but respect. Because respect comes first. If you are scared, you are feel insecure yourself, and you always you cannot balance and connect it to people. So definitely you have to trust your children. You have to trust the learner. You know, to make sure you have a good listener. That is what is parents now. You have to be a good listener because they want to speak. The children at Millennium now, they want to speak. They have a chance. Even though I do have a grandchild, a granddaughter, she like to speak to me. A certain thing that she says, "Hi, Granny, I got something to do." It's just like you watching um, the TV, children's TV show. You know, they can just imitate word by word, but on their own words. So these are the things, as I said, first I say is respect. Secondly, don't be afraid. And we have to trust them. Instead of they trust us as a mother. That is a natural feeling. When the children to the parents, they have a love. This is already built. When they born and we giving them a support. But if you don't give a chance to them, this is difficult for them to give you back the love that is already been built in their life. So from there, once I believe the role of our model is we have to be the model. Then when they go out, definitely they will go for the second one for the teachers, but they still come back to you. Hey mom, I got this thing. Hey mom, I got this or something like that. Oh, that's good, because that is how they trust us. We got the return, like, you just clap together. I got something to tell you. So that's a part of this. And for the school also, if school, what we are trained in, when I was in this PSG group, we trust and we believe the children can do and want to learn, and they can get along with their friends. And then of course, maybe some of them, these days children, they don't really know how to read. Surprisingly, they can even write, they can even spell, but they can speak fluently. So these are the things, the kind of some skills that we give it to them. We some drawing, maybe we start with the drawing, or maybe we start with the activities. That is what we are trained them in school as part of the partner for the teachers and the principal. So this is what I can say for now. I hope this is answer your question, Indire. Thank you.
Yeah,
Back to you.
definitely, Divyati. I am like you answer my question, but one more question come to my mind after listening to you is like I understand this everything is happening like your grandson or granddaughter is coming to you and all that, but the challenge in front of us is like it is a 21st century we are talking about. We're entering
Yeah,
into that.
okay.
Yeah, and after pandemic, everything is changed.
Yes,
Everything was offline. Now everything is digital. There was a time when we were avoiding child to handle the mobile at an early age. But now
yes,
child is for child and it's her education. The mobile is the basic vitamin. If you are not giving them a mobile or a technology, then they are not going to learn, right? So, what do you think from your experience? What solution would you
see.
like to suggest? Anything
Yes,
you would like
I
to
agree
suggest
with
to
you.
our people?
I agree with you. I said what I we I'm also involved with the as you say, I'm involved with the adult people, and what we are training. Even though I'm a trainer, but I am a learner as well. So what we what we do for ourselves, Now, after this pandemic, it's not about the professions. It's not about what you are and how high you go, or maybe you been successful in your life regards to your personal or your business. But now we are talking about the behavior. We're talking about the behavior change. So this behavior change come from within, where is brought up from the home. Definitely to now this learn talk about how now this generation which is start the millennium already when I found out. First, we must have a knowledge, meaning the knowledge is a reading. Reading is very important. Once you make yourself practice to be know how to read for the purpose or maybe for the leisure or for the hobby, the knowledge will come naturally. Yeah. Then from there, you like to share. My
You're muted. Yeah.
yeah, sorry. So so when you have a story, you have a knowledge, you have a story, definitely you want to share. That is how the communications. Because now this world people like to communicate, people like to share. That's why they have a Facebook, they have the social media, and now they have a clubhouse where I didn't know you, Adrienne. I didn't know you, Clarion and Duena, Meta, and maybe Mr. Lam that we've been seen but we never talk. But we're sharing now. This is a communication. The communication is start. That's what I said from the home, where your children, every each of your family, they share and come to us outside here to get together. That is now is the kind of education. A platform is after pandemic. I'm here in Singapore, India. We are talking now, interact with in India. Just imagine that. That is now the world is. Yeah, so definitely I put a note here, mathematics. When talk about mathematics, it's not about you are doing 1, 2, 3 times 2 times 3, but the mathematics, how you to understand the world communications, the world in VUCA. I
Yeah.
just shared last 2 weeks how this VUCA can change each individual of us. So this is what I said. The mathematics is maybe something that you want to measure yourself, how far your knowledge and how far you go and who you want to deal with, because people are smart to choose. And definitely, as I said, the communication is very important. And now, writing, where I'm involved in writing ebook, where writing is a partially is a communication for me with toward others, and I'm using that as a tool. I'm a therapy practitioner that I can do for people because I didn't cannot touch you because of the pandemic, but I make it a writing partially a tools for me. So this is what everybody are doing. It's something similar. It may be on your own way how you do. And this is the visionary that it can be linked, help us together, communicate, writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
about it.
Absolutely. Yeah. So my next question to Rihanna, and the question is,
Thank you.
what is, in your view, 21st century global visionary school should have and should teach?
Thank you for the question. And basically, I don't think there is much difference in what is going on at this moment. You see, with the digital challenge that most parents are having at this moment, we have to use what is going on now that our kids, and I have a granddaughter with me, she's learning from people we don't know. TikTok, all the other kids' videos and images that they see. The worst thing, the difference in culture. If you see like American productions and videos, how kids are telling their parents, I hate you. Those are things that our kids don't do. But they are being taught in this century that is the way that you talk to your parents. So first thing that we have to do if we want to have a good visionary school for the future is reprogram parents and educators and mind programmers to understand that we have a challenge in this digital world with all these kids walking with this small apparatus in their hands, and that apparatus is their biggest teacher. So if we want to talk about a visionary school for the 21st century, we need to look at, because kids don't educate themselves. They get educated by the environment and everything, schools, parents. First thing we have to do is educate the elders and let us know that things have changed. And we don't like change, but things have changed. So we cannot continue to educate kids the way we were doing that in 1990, because we need to educate them for 2030, and we don't know how to do that. We cannot understand 2030 if we don't know how to dominate this thing. And that is the biggest challenge, the biggest question that has to be answered. So if you ask me, what is the global visionary school? We have to accept two things. One, we live in a global village, and in that global village, there are people that we understand, and there are people that we don't understand, and those people are teachers. We don't understand a lot of languages that we hear in the global village using this. We don't know what is behind the what is presented in the global village. We don't know why it is presented the way it is presented, but I do know that in the global village, our kids, and I live on an island, they see how you have to dress, because that's what they see. They see how you have to eat. That's what they see. They see how you have to talk to others, authorities, peers, parents. That's what they see. And who is correcting them? Most parents don't know what is happening in their house because of this. And because they don't know what is happening, they cannot take action. And when they realize, or where someone warns them or tell them, or they simply understand, sometimes they cannot go back. And we have challenges with our 2030 kids. First of all, addictions, they learn it on this. You know how many pre-teeners are addicted to pornography because of this? How are you as a parent going to change that? How are you as a teacher going to change that? If you don't even know how far they are because of this. Do you know how their way of eating is changing? If you cannot handle this, you cannot, we can talk till next year, but if we don't tell parents and mind programmers how to handle this in the global village, nothing can change. We can talk a lot. We like talking to each other. We do it, but we are not contributing to a real growth, to a real change, to a real better kid. The addictions, we have to look at all the addictions. I say pornography, but also gambling. You don't know. They start with giving the kids chance to buy things for free, to gamble for free, and then when they want to upgrade and continue, they need to pay. That's not a thing. The way that kids drink and eat, I mean, I can go on, but addictions is one of the worst things that we are dealing with in the digital world. And whatever school we have in the future, this school will have to either repair, because if you get damaged kids, kids with traumas, you cannot teach anything. You need to go back to the beginning and try to reprogram and heal them. And then don't ever forget that this is my soapbox topic. If we want to make a change, we need women. We need, doesn't matter if the woman is educated or not. If we want to make a change, we need women to understand what's going on in the world. And don't forget, talking about the global village, some countries, some communities, it's okay for women to be outspoken, to live a life with a career, to be independent. And still, we have so many cultures where women are not allowed to be a human being, with the result that you get so much illiteracy among women. I know the figure, but I forgot them at this moment. Poverty, poverty among women, and lack of good self-esteem to be able to make changes. So if you ask me, what is my view? It is very difficult, and I want to use this word again, challenging, because whatever we do, if we cannot dominate this, if you cannot decide, because some parents give a child this, so the child will be quiet and not bother them. That's where it starts. Parents need to be more aware why a child is behaving the way the child behaves. A child cries, a child is difficult. I've been there, I've been there. A child will really let you feel that it's trying to make your life miserable. It is not. The child is developing. And with this, the child will develop in your house, educated by people you don't know their intentions, you don't know their culture, you don't know their language, but your child knows. Your child is being educated, very well educated. And when you want to pitch in, there is no space for you. So when we talk about school, I want to have it very, very broad, because house is a school, your home, your house is a school too. So what my vision is, we need to know to handle this. Thank you.
Yeah. So before we go to the next question, one more question I want to ask you, Rihanna. It's like, can you just suggest me 5 solutions which will help us to overcome all these challenges what you have shared? 5 solutions from your side. Can you suggest?
5.
Yeah, only five.
Okay. But this is my soapbox topic, okay? So you're challenging me. Okay, first one,
Yeah,
women need to be educated, because women are still, wherever you are in the world, the primary caregivers. Women need to be educated, and not simply empowered, but educated on the power of this. There is no bigger power in the world at this moment than this. Okay? Whatever people say, this is a teacher. And first of all, one teacher. Second, we have to look for a way for kids to read more, because
okay.
reading is a big problem. Kids need to read more. And the only way for a child to read and love reading is by parents reading with them
Yeah,
from a very innocent moment. When even if the child is one day, take a book, sit with the child. 1 month, 1 year. If the child sees that, has that, the child will think that's something good to do. Just like they see how you walk, how you dress, how you eat, and so on. Also, if a child never sees a parent with a book in his or her hand, the child is not going to read. So you have to be the actor in the life of your child, and then like take a moment, like when maybe before the child goes, make a time every day at 5 o'clock. I take a book in my hand and I sit with it, even though I don't like reading, because parents tell you in front of their kids that they don't like reading. So how do you want the child to read and learn? because I think reading can dominate this a little. You know, if they read books, it
Yeah,
can
physical.
dominate this power.
Yeah.
The third thing that I believe is very important is schools, because schools are going more and more also digital because they cannot stay behind. They cannot. But by doing that, they need to put more attention to non-digital things too, because you are programming a mind. And all of us, I think, can relate to the fact that, like, if I go on Facebook and I don't remember someone's birthday, Facebook will remind me so I can do the social gesture of saying happy birthday to someone. Schools need to be more aware. And then we have to be aware, the fourth answer, about the global village, because that will be and that will stay a big challenge. How can you tell? Because kids don't listen to you. Don't ever forget that. They don't listen to you. They look at you. They look at what they see. You can say you have to eat healthy foods and tell them vegetables are good and all those things, and you stop with them at the window of a fast food place. What's going on? The kids will like the fast food thing and not what you tell them, and not give them. Okay. Um, we need to look at the global village. The global village is doing so much damage with all the movies. Let me say Hollywood. They gave us a specific image of how a beautiful person is, of how a successful person is. And those are not the images that is valid in all over the world. If in one country with less material goods, a woman succeeds to work very hard, two, three jobs, and pay for the school for a child, she is a successful woman. With less money than the woman in a very developed country whose child has everything and who is an addict. So we need to look on, and I think this is out of our hands. The global village attack is out of our hands, because it becomes, I think, political. It's not something that, but on the individual level, talk in your house about what you think, about what you see, about how programming of the mind is can be dangerous. It has to happen in your house. And the fifth solution is having summits like these and trying to get more and more people involved. So many parents, so many mothers want their child to be successful and good and everything. Try to include more of them, get them their attention, so they understand that those who are participating now, those who are organizing this, the whole team also cares about their kids. So I think these are the five solutions.
Yeah. My last question will be all of you for one by one. I'll ask everybody, but I want everybody to give your answers for this question. So I'll start with Mr. Lamb. So, Mr. Lamb, how can schools across boundaries, across various countries, collaborate as we are human beings of the same planet Earth, living in different countries?
Not from the school system. So perhaps, I mean, some of the ideas that I was thinking is that we have good practices, in certain countries. So the teachers, can always exchange. We have a lot of international students exchange, but I don't hear a lot about teachers exchanges. Perhaps that can be something that the ministries of education can consider. I mean, that's one of the things that might be possible. Then the others is that certain countries may be more advanced in their education system, so they can conduct workshops for other countries. You know, they for those that who aren't as advanced. So this is another things that can do. The third would be something that they can do joint research. Let me give you an example. I I've been learning this mindful art techniques, which is called the Zentangle Method. Okay, basically this method is basically an art, a method of drawing. It incorporates the mindfulness part, as you can see the Zentangle, is Zen. The Zen, it means the Buddhism, the mindfulness part, and then the tangles, right, will be the drawing part. Okay, so this is developed by a couple. So the husband and wife. Husband used to at one time he practiced as a monk, so he knows it. And then when the both of them, right, the husband and wife were doing work together. They are doing different things. One is doing meditation. The other one was doing drawing, writing. Then they find that they achieve the same meditative state. So they say, hey, why don't we combine the two? So then develop this method, and so what happened is this: when you do this, right, they basically you follow you draw some repeated patterns, and you just keep doing it. And that's the method also incorporates some of the practices of the mindfulness. For example, the breathing. They ask you to breathe. They ask you to appreciate, the world. They ask you to appreciate the artwork that you have done. They appreciate the people who teach you. So it's very similar to the mindfulness. So what I found is that there are some countries, right? For example, in Malaysia and in Taiwan, some professors or teachers, they actually implemented this in schools, some of their schools, and then they find that it is working. But then, because sometimes it may work in certain countries, we don't know about other countries. So I mean, if it's possible, I was thinking, if a few countries they can come together, they can do a joint, exercise, just to see if it works in all the different countries, because the children are brought up differently. But what they find is actually quite effective. They find that for the older students, like the university students or the high school students, right, they find the stress level actually go down. And for the younger students, right, the primary school students, they find that actually it instill confidence in the weaker students. That's very interesting, because they say that because of the way that the method teach you, right, you appreciate what you do. And then it's because it is very easy to learn and very easy to draw, and they feel very proud. So they become very confident. So actually they find that the confidence level for these children actually improve. So, but of course, I find that there may not be enough research at the moment. But if, let's say, the different countries, they decided to implement this and test it out, I think that would be something very interesting. You have another means to motivate students.
I would like to DRT also share her view on this.
That D? You're asking for D?
Yeah. So let her, everybody at least contribute some on this. On question number 4, can you just show some lights, like throw some light from your side?
How can school?
Yeah, I think in there you need to repeat the question. You need
Yeah.
to repeat the question. Yeah.
Just a moment, I'll repeat it.
So
So how can schools across boundaries across various countries collaborate, as we are a human being of the same planet Earth and living in different countries?
Okay, may I answer this? Just do the sharing.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's just sharing from everybody.
All right. Okay. This is a very good question, which is happening now. I have one learner from my invigilators learners. where she shared with me. She's a teacher. She's a teacher, and I really admire her. She is doing English language subject, where I thought she just do it in Singapore, but she's doing to other country, third country, where they have a problem to speak the pronunciations, words, writing, and everything. And she is a teacher who collaborate with the school or the personal learner who want to learn English. So these are the things. There is no boundary where, if like now, if someone want to learn, actually we are here Singapore, and it will help by the government as well for them to go more explore to help others by using this kind of a human beings by help each other. And she's really wonders. I met her, and she shared with me that is the always opportunity that people want to learn. There's just always a place. So in fact, not only Singapore, other countries also, they are collaborating and they help each other. You want to learn English? Okay, this is the profession. You want English? You want to learn about the children? This is the profession. In fact, I myself involved with the infant massage. I deal with my Sifu founder was from UK. So these are the things that everywhere, which is now pandemic. There's no stopping for people to teach others from your other country. There's no boundaries, and there's always a help and communications in terms of what can we do first, and then after that talk about later that can help, even is a business or personal or collaborations in school. They are doing now in the world now, in the world, not only Singapore, in the world.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I can say for now. Thank you. Back to you.
Okay. Um, don't you ever forget about when we are talking in a setting like this, that we are dealing with differences in culture. So if we talk about how can we join each other, on how can we exchange, you're dealing with cultural differences, accents, the way we are speaking. I think most of us are speaking a foreign language at this moment. We all have our accent based on our maternal language, why we speak English with this accent. So culture, accent, tolerance. Don't you ever forget it when we're dealing international, because some people may look at me and say, okay, maybe she's really an expert. Some people will accept me immediately, and some people will say, she can't tell me anything. So these are things that we have to take into consideration when we are dealing international. And I'm talking from experience. When we are dealing international and when we want to make a difference. Because indeed, all of us come with our life work and our difference, our wisdom, but we don't know each other. When we look at each other, do you look like my neighbor? Yes or no? If you look like my neighbor, it's okay. If you don't, instead of learning from you, I'm going to question you and trying to get to know where you're coming from. So I love the word challenge in this setting. There is a big challenge when you cross boundaries and you want to learn from each other, you want to teach each other. And that is what we have to take into consideration. The differences that instead of helping us can hold us back.
I think Hanifa, you can also share some of your thoughts on how that we could collaborate across countries from a visionary school perspective, because with technological advancement, it now there are no boundaries. Sitting in US, you could fly drones in some other country. You could do anything. We can talk internationally, right? So boundaries will cease to exist. It is about
Yes.
how we are preparing the children for a global citizen. You can already see right now we are talking internationally. Maybe you imagine the next generation that will be much more, or the subsequent generation will be much more. And as Rene said, that is accent. Maybe our next generation will talk in one accent to Singaporeans, another accent to US. They may develop these skills in them, right? For example, in India, an average kid or a person can speak 5 to 6 languages. So maybe a global child can have multilingual, multi accents, right? And
Yes.
maybe will do a schooling here in this country, maybe do a job in some other country, or maybe do businesses in 10 different countries. So therefore, it's important that if you have to prepare a child for global, as a global citizen, not a citizen of an India or a Singapore or a US or a Europe, but as a global citizen, because planet is shared by all of us. There is no name on the planet
Yes.
that this is this or that is that. There is no, when you cut your finger, when you cut, it is the same blood that comes up. And when you open up it is the same heart. When you open up your head, it's the same brain, right? So we have the same hands and the same legs. It's not about that, the people who are here are having 3 eyes, and the people sitting in the other country is having 4 eyes. No, it's not so. It's the same human being. Maybe we are brought up differently, maybe we have different cultures, but how do we culminate everything to be able to create what we call it as a global visionary school, which can produce the global citizens of core values intact in human being, technologically advanced, being entrepreneurial, and thinking about the society, thinking about raising the standard of living of human beings. Yeah, Hanifa, your thoughts?
Hi, thank you. So, because of time constraint, I'll be keep it short as well. And a very heartfelt contributions from all of our panels here. I can see that we have been thinking and feeling and sleeping with these thoughts for years and years. So one question alone is not enough for us to pour out the way we feel about our children, the way we feel about Mother Earth, and the way we feel about where we were brought up. So even in one session will not be enough. But I'm looking at three words: love, connection, and contribution. This is something I learned when I attended Tony Robbins sessions, and I learned something else about significance. Now, all of us are chasing after being seen or being shown away or being wanting to be recognized or acknowledged for our thoughts, for our work, for the efforts and the contributions we do. But significance itself does not bring us any joy. It does not fulfill us. The fulfillment of what we do here is when we are able to continue to contribute to the world. And this will go on for the many years after we leave this place. So for every country or every school or every child in any school, any place, whether global village or not, the most important part is where were they brought up? The nurture from mother to father, the love of our mother and the strength from our father. If the child recognizes that from the bottom of his heart, we know how to follow him. If the child does not know where he's coming from, where that love is then coming from, where the strength is coming from, we are unable to actually show him the country that he is born in. Because all he's going to see buildings, he's going to see supermarkets, he's going to see more schools, and so many trends and changes and teachers and bullies and maybe good Samaritans, all these interesting thing around the world. But the basic thing is when he comes home, is he ready to hug the world, the two people that brought them into this world? That will be their parents. And those, for me, is the country that they can start with. They can begin from that small country, which is the safest environment in their lives. And from that safe environment, we introduce them to the bigger environment, which is the immediate surroundings, the schools, the supermarkets again. And every time we do that, we're like flying a kite with them. So they go and we bring it back home again. The same way we are feeling right now. We wish our parents were here to see our grandchildren grow or their grandchildren grow. So every time we come home, this is where. Now imagine the day when we are not anymore. What is the first person? Who's the first person that you think of will have to be beside you? Not the president, not someone who is famous. It will be your family. And that's what we have to show to our children, how important that country they have is always there. So I'm going to say something that is probably going to help us put everything together. Is what we're looking for is the essence of how this global school is going to help our work. So our homework is to go back and find out what's the essence of this we're talking about, and create not just basics but the principles in which we can support others. So that's my contribution to the countries, because I meet a lot of people every day and I love doing what I do. And when you love doing what you do, it is not important who are you with, because the person who you with must feel the energy. And I heard Mr. Lam mention about being an educator. He is a very you have heard how he spoke. Yeah, he's very level-headed. He can just tell you as the world he sees. And he doesn't make any mistakes. That's the beauty of how when we have the opportunity now to speak to everyone here with different questions, and we can see the problems that he can pay attention to. That's important. The mindset issues, the academic portion of how to bring trust into people, like what Jurati is saying, is the children as the learner.
Hanifa, your
Where
screen
she's
is
living
frozen.
from.
Your screen is frozen, Hanifa.
Okay, let me just put this away. All right. So I'm living with love, connection, and keep contributing wherever you are. The country will come to you.
Absolutely.
You don't have to fly anymore. Yeah. All right. Thank you, Indire and Kalyan.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's the reason we also have soon, maybe the day will come, we will be hosting Visionary Family Summit.
Yes.
So we create a visionary family, visionary schools, visionary organizations, visionary colleges, visionary corporates, and visionary family, visionary parents, visionary children, so that we live all in a different world. And that's what we aspire for as a human being, to raise our quality of standard, right? So maybe our grandpas required days and months to travel from one country to another country, but today we can just fly down. So that's what the quality of life has gone up. We were to make calls and telegrams and phone calls, but today we can just do a Zoom call and connect. So our quality of life has gone up, right? So there's a guy called as Bucky Fuller. So he says that if each human being can find his passion and can find a reason of how he could contribute to the world in raising the standard of living, then I don't think he requires to find a job or find a business, because then it's an expression of that human being to raise the standard of life. In the process, the secondary effect is about the money and the honor that he gets, the respect that he gets, or the wealth that he gets, or abundance, because abundance is anyway given in the world. Nothing in the universe is not abundant. You take mud, you take rock, you take air, you take oxygen, you take brick, you take wood, you take anything in the world. Everything is already abundant. Whether we have an abundant mindset to tune ourselves to that abundance is a question that we need to ask for ourselves and teach our children.
That if we are going to close our session for this summit or this panel discussion,